Thank you for joining me for this short yoga class to calm your nervous system. So we're going to be working on coming out of a fight, flight, freeze response into a more soothing, calming rest and digest response. We are going to be moving quickly. We're not going to be moving into many different yoga postures. We are going to be taking our time. We're going to be holding postures. We're going to be trying to release the tension in our muscles, our connective tissues and our joints. And we're going to be focusing a lot on taking deep, rhythmic breaths. Okay. So I'm going to invite you to come to a seated position. You can be on a chair if it's more comfortable than sitting on the floor. I'm sat on a support. If you also want to have a cushion or a block or something underneath you, maybe have a meditation cushion, you can also use that. It might be handy just to have a few props, maybe some blocks or books, if you have them lying around as we hold some of the hip openers. Those supports might come in very handy. So I just want you to sit with a nice straight spine. So however the leg position is, I don't really mind. I just want you to be able to feel that there's a very natural lift up through the spinal column. So we are not straining to keep ourselves up. We're not causing tension in the hips and having the knees high. Okay, this is about reducing that tension in the body. So if we are sat like so, this is not sending a good signal to the brain. This is not saying that we are relaxed or that we are in a particularly safe posture. Okay, so change your position, find something that means that your legs can relax, that your hips can relax, that you have this natural lift through the spine. And so if this is not available, sitting onto the edge of a chair, absolutely fine. And then we're going to close the eyes. So once you're there, once you can feel this natural lift through the spine, closing the eyes. Take a deep breath in and a slow breath out. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. So just taking your time to come into this space, arriving into your practice, arriving with your breath. And perhaps you even feel inclined to sigh out of the mouth on the exhale. This is available to you if you wish to do that. So you can breathe in through the nose and sigh out through the mouth on the exhale. Just keep repeating this, whether you're breathing in and out through the nose or in through the nose, out through the mouth. Deep, rhythmic breath. So by rhythmic, I mean that we aren't taking a long breath, a short breath, and mixing up the length of the breaths. We're trying to take a long breath in, slow breath out. And that stays the same through the practice. And so my rhythm of long breath may be very different from your rhythm of long breath. That's fine. Finding your own deep, relaxing, rhythmic breath. And as you stay here and breathe, I'm just going to give you a little bit of the science about what this breath work does for us. So when we can calm the breath down, we access something called the vagus nerve. And so this runs from the brain, through the respiratory system and the diaphragm, as well as the gut and digestion and other places, also the heart. But we're going to be focusing on that connection from the brain down to the lungs and the diaphragm. Okay, so when we take these deep breaths, we're taking diaphragmatic breathing. By doing that, we are sending a signal back through the vagus nerve to the brain to say everything is safe, everything is fine, that we don't need to be on this high alert, we don't need to be vigilant looking around expecting the worst, that we are okay as we are. It's such a quick way for us to access that nerve, for us to calm the whole system. And it's so simple, so simple. Okay, let's take one more breath here. Exhaling. Then let's open the eyes. So just blinking open the eyes. We've been there for a while, so allow the light to come back in. Allow your eyes to adjust. Good. And then just a little technique that I've learned recently to do with the nervous system, and also used for kind of trauma and things like that. Anything that we're holding on to, or it could just be that the stress and the tension that we hold in the neck and the shoulders too. We're just going to have a little go at accessing some of the nervous system through this technique. It's so simple. If you need to change your leg position, you want to change and have the other leg crossed in front, please go ahead and change your position. That's absolutely fine. If you want to sit back on the heels, good too. And again, we just want this natural lift through the spine. And we're going to look over the left shoulder. You're not forcing the head round, just going to look to a point that you can't look any further. And you're going to notice, where do your eyes fix? So you're going to find a point that you fix onto. You're going to remember that point. And then we're going to turn the head to the right. Again, we're not forcing the head round, we're going to a comfortable place, a place where there feels like there's a natural stop for the head. Shoulders stay forward so we're not twisting. And then we fix our eyes on a point in the room. So preferably we're not looking to the right here, we're just kind of looking in the position of our head. Take note of that point. And then come back to the centre with the head and the eyes. Now you have an option here. You can keep the hands down, or you can bring the hands, interlock the fingers and place them behind the head. Okay. So if this feels like it's creating tension around the shoulders, or you have something, a frozen shoulder or anything like that, that means you can't get into this position, please don't worry about the hands, okay? So only if it's available to you, you can bring the hands up. And so I learned this technique from Lydia Grace, a yoga teacher and embodiment coach, all linked to the polyvagal theory. Okay, so I'm just going to give her a little shout out because, yes, she did a very good session on this and it was really kind of informative. So just want to give her some recognition. Go and check her out, Lydia Grace. Okay, so here we've got the hands interlocked behind the head, and then we're going to look to the left with the eyes. So your head's going to stay forward, and you're going to look to the left. And you're going to stay looking to the left until you spontaneously yawn, swallow, or sigh. Now, of course, this is all going to be different from all of us, so you might want to pause the video and stay until that sigh, swallow, or yawn naturally arises. And keep looking to the left. And then when that sigh, swallow or yawn has naturally arisen from the body, we bring the eyes back to the centre, and then we look to the right. So now again, we keep looking at the right until we spontaneously yawn, swallow, or sigh. So for some people this might be a long time, especially if it's the first time doing this, so please feel free to pause the video and kind of do it in your own time. So you keep looking until you yawn or sigh or swallow. So there's my yawn. And then look back to the centre. At that point, when you've done it on both sides, so welcome back if you pause the video. If you've done that, you bring the hands down. And then we're going to look to the left again. So remember that point of focus you had for your eyes. You're going to look to the left. And just see if your head goes further back. And see if that gaze has also shifted. So you had your reference point, and now where are you looking? Just take note of that. And then we're going to come back to the centre. And now we're going to look to the right. So the same thing, you look to the right, notice if there's a change in where you're able to turn the head and where your eyes now rest. Good, and then we can come back to the centre. So pretty amazing stuff, very simple technique. Learning to, again, link with this vagus nerve, with our nervous system, and release some of that tension. Not only that's in the physical, you know, in the neck and the shoulders, but also within the nervous system, all these neurons firing and everything kind of going on for us all the time. A very simple technique just to bring us all down and ground us. Okay, so we're going to release from this posture now. Again, you can stretch out, shake the legs, do whatever you need. If you're on a chair, please come and join us now on the mat. Move any supports you had off to the side, so you've got a clear mat space. We're going to come into a lunge position. Okay, so we're going to step the right foot forward, have the left knee to the floor, and here we're just going to hold this. Okay, so at this point, this is when the blocks or the books might come in handy. You can either frame your foot with those supports. If you feel restricted at all, like you really can't get your hips going forward because the bone of your right thigh is sitting into the right hip and there's no movement, there's no compression, a little secret that you can do is to walk that right foot out, bring your hands on the inside of the leg, and see if that allows you to move your hips forward a little bit more. Okay. So here as well, you can have your hands supported by blocks. Whatever you need. If your right knee wants to roll out to the side, just allow your toes to follow that direction. Few more breaths here, just loosening up around the hips, another place that tends to get a little bit tense when our nervous system is feeling a bit frazzled. Good, and then we're going to bring ourselves slightly out of that. So everyone's going to frame their foot now if you did have your right foot out to the side. And you're going to bring yourself into more of a square lunge. So at the moment my hips are quite forward. I'm going to walk that left knee in slightly so I have more of a square with my legs on the floor. Now can you see that? Good. And so my left arm is going to stretch forward. If you have a spare yoga mat or a windowsill or anything like that, you can even place your hand onto that support, maybe a chair if you were using a chair. Good. And then I'm going to lift the right arm up. Stay here for a few breaths, stretching up through the right side. Deep rhythmic breaths. And then we're going to change. So now we bring the right hand down and lift the left arm up. So this is good for releasing the hips, the lower abdomen, accessing a little bit the psoas muscle again. This is linked to kind of trauma memories, breathing the diaphragm again. And then we can release. We'll step the left leg forward. So either framing your foot, if you feel that your thigh bone is stuck into your left hip and there's not much movement there, you can shift the left foot out and then see if that gives you more freedom to move the hips forward. Yeah, if your left knee wants to turn out, turn the left toes. Hands can be supported on blocks or hands to the floor if you can reach. Good deep rhythmic breaths. And then we're going to come out of this. We're going to frame the foot. You're going to bring yourself into more of a square lunge. So again, we have this square shape with our legs and the floor. We're going to keep the right hand forward and stretch the left arm up. Take a few breaths. Keep your tailbone moving down so we have this nice opening through the front of the spine. And then we're going to change, bring the left arm down, the right arm up. So now accessing the right hip, a little bit into the psoas, releasing that held tension, the memory in the tissues. And then exhale, let's bring the hands down, bring your left leg back. And I'm going to invite you to take a short relaxation, so lying on the back and taking a few moments, just resting before you continue with your day. Make sure the body's comfortable. You can also have the knees bent, resting against each other for lower back if you need that. And this is where I'm going to leave you. So please stay here for a couple more minutes. Breathing deeply, slow rhythmic breath. Relax. Relax. Relax.